Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video, and it is time to rank all of the new units that have come out for the meta. We have received all three. We've got the free-to-play unit. Jubilee is going on. We've had plenty of time to test it, even though technically I haven't done a showcase yet for Soka. I do need to record that still. Sue me, I guess. But I have had enough, experience using all of Light 3.0 to effectively judge them in my own opinion, on where I think they rank in the tier list. So we're going to go easy, starting off with the protection unit. We have Protector Shuna. She, is double stacking, really, so Stun Strike and Pierce Power. She's also buffing blues. She's also raising skill cap. She is essentially Water Milim if you gave Water Milim another attack stat that she's stacking. It's pretty much what it is. So, Shuna belongs in stacking power. And I think that is very, very correct. Because to put her in S, I think, would be currently disrespectful to the other S rank units. Because you need to stun, you need to pierce in order to actually get her effects, right? Water Milim is just water tech. You're running a water team, you're doing more damage, regardless. And if you're not running a water team, then you're not using Milim. Veldora is the same way. If you're stacking space attack, it doesn't require anything else other than at least a space DPS unit. All right, you need a light unit, you need a light unit who can pierce, and you need a light unit who can stun. So you have many, many more requirements for Shuna than you have either of these three other stacking units. But these units are very general use. You just change orbs and you get 40 points. You change orbs and you get pierce rate, and that stacks. These don't require other units to work well. You can make them work even better with other units, but they don't need them. You need units to make Shuna, maximum potential. So honestly, if that wasn't the case, I would actually put her in S above all the other stacking teams, because what she does is just that good. But for now, because she needs so much requirements, she will go into the generic stacking power category. And, we're just going to kind of leave it at that. If you can make her run, she will help you do disgusting amounts of damage. Like we've seen from my Jubilee videos, we've seen from all the other showcases, that if you can get her working and you can get a lot of stacks in her, she will double your nuking damage. Like we did that with the water team for normal 3 in Jubilee. In Jubilee, on a 6-turn stage, we took Hinata from 400,000 to almost 1 million. 1 million damage in Jubilee. This isn't like a wanked out showcase of me being funny with it and stacking forever. This is a very realistic fight, right? We hit the turn limit. We did what we had. We used all the buffs, and we did almost 1 million damage, because we could activate all of what Shuna's doing. That's really good. But if you can't do it, then you're not stacking. So use someone else. I would just use Water Milim, and we would have done 400,000 damage. So that's that. I don't really see an argument going either higher or lower. Maybe people would put her lower because she's so restrictive, but I made this category specifically for these units. Moving on, the free-to-play Soka is fine, I guess. She is the special converter for blues, just like Frey is up here. So, that's cool. Frey also has the giveaway, which I think is more helpful. Soka's second skill is the defense down and the stun turn extension, which then still requires that you have them stunned. And if it's a stage that can't be stunned, you need Valentine to make them be able to stun. And then you need a unit to stun, and then Soka can extend the stun. I never used this Soka in Jubilee for her stun extension, because we just went until turn 9 and then killed him. There's no point in doing it turn 8 and then to turn 9. Maybe I could have, and we could have done a little bit extra damage to his health. I don't really know. But I don't think her second skill is as useful as Frey's. Even though Frey's is pure RNG, it can still be good. So I'm going to put her into the B tier. Being a special converter is good, and it's great that we have another free-to-play option for that. It's just that I don't think she fits very well on other teams, because lowering defense by 10% is really not all that impressive. And like Rimuru, I mean, can take the spot of you by being a much better converter than just your being special conversion. So that's what I think right there. In order for her to be an A tier, her defense skill would need a different side effect. I don't care what it was. You could what could they even use? They could do magic resistance down or something, I guess. I don't think anyone does that on the light team. They do light resistance and they do alt resistance down. Yeah, she would have to have some other kind of debuff effect that would help Raphael out for me to move her up to A tier. So there's that. For the battle units, we have, Raphael, Milim, and Valentine. I do have a few changes to make, though, to the top of this list. We are moving Milim up, and we are moving Shuna up into the godly tier. We are going to move Fire Shizu down into B tier. I know people have been yelling at me to move Milim up for a while now, and I finally did it. There we go. Shuna also, at this point, any team that's running blues, Shuna will be there. Unless it's a super duper short-term team like the Wind team, Wind 2.0, which is... She can work. She still can't work, don't get me wrong, because she's another orange orb trainer like Geld. But any team that runs blues, she's going to be there. Any team that runs greens, Milim will probably be there, because they both buff alts, right? They both buff alts, they're both orb changers, they're both fantastic at it. She also has her own attack buff, so if you need her to nuke, she's going to nuke. I think that's great. It does leave the S tier a little bit lonely with the two Valentines right here, and I can tell you right now, the third Valentine will not be here. But, it is what it is. These units are all just very good. Masked Hero is still best unit in the game. I maybe should make another tier for just the Masked Hero, and then put the rest of them in Godly. Maybe I'll do that next time. But DPS, 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 DPS. Fucking good support for anybody, really. And then I moved Fire Shizu down because I don't think she belongs in the A tier. These are all generic support types, DPS, old DPS's healers, some kind of thing. Xion is very specific for the water team. Shizu is also very specific for the water team, but the buffs that she gives are less significant than Xion's are. And then Rimuru with his alt yoink and his guaranteed crit for everybody. And then for the dark team, his 40% damage on the crit is just really good. I just don't think Shizu can really match any of that as far as being DPSs or, super duper good supports. I will actually move Diablo up, though. He is the Wind 2.0 DPS. As much as I don't like Wind 2.0, he is self-sufficient. He's got his attack buff. He's got his crit buff. He lowers defense. He buffs his own orb gauge. He does he's a good package. It's just that I just don't like Wind 2.0, but I have recognized his worth finally, so we have moved him up. So those are the changes that I have to make to the existing list. Nothing else really stands out as far as getting promoted or demoted. Now to start, we're gonna go with Raphael, the first unit, and Raphael is a very good DPS unit on the light team. He is a very good support unit on any other nuking team that can run another 55-point skill, because during my testing, I discovered that his 50% alt resistance down eclipses the 60% alt buff that Dark Valentine gives, right? So you can put him on a team like the Water 2.0 team, you can put him on the Dark Anniversary team, and you can help them do more damage than what Dark Val originally did. So that is a nice feather in his cap. But that is it. It is just the one support skill. Otherwise, you need to be able to stun. You need to be able to pierce in order to really bring out the full potential of Raphael. So, self-sufficient? Kind of. Unless they have stun resistance, of which case then Raphael will just sit there. So I don't think Raphael is S or Godly I think Raphael is a very, very solid A tier, bridging into S. It's just that right now, currently in the game, there's only about 4 things that's worth stunning, right? And most of them you can beat other ways, right? Like, you're not going 8 turns in Conquest Ifrit, because either you're going to kill him or he's going to kill you. You're not going to go 8 turns in Conquest Orc or Golem, because he's going to kill you turn 6, regardless. You can use Raphael in in obviously his Tempered Edge, where you can stun. Obviously, that's what it's meant to do. Until you get to EX 3, 4, and 5, and then it's a different story. You can stun Clayman in EX 5 Fire Tempered Edge, I guess. Cool, whatever. But he's also got a whole bunch of magic resistance, and he nerfs blues, so good luck. So that's why I think Raphael is A tier, is because, you know, on the places you can use him, he's going to do nutty amounts of damage. But that's 5% of the game, right? There's a whole bunch of other game. There's a whole bunch of story. There's a whole bunch of conquests, tempered edges, you know, other missions that Raphael just probably will not help you too much on unless you're trying to nuke with a different team and you want his ult resistance down. So that's my argument for A tier. S tier, he would have to be just less restrictive, I guess. He'd have to do what Light Valentine does, as well as stunning, I guess, combined. And then the piercing. It's like, it's you know, the game is not tailored for stunning right now. It's unfortunate but true, which is why I didn't really recommend people summon for this meta, because, you know, where else are you going to use them? So, moving on to the second unit that came out, Light Milim, is actually a pretty good generic unit, because she's unrestrictive, right? She's got the attack buff for 45%. She's got the Orb Steal, which is good. It's like what free-to-play Water Rimuru does. And then she's also got the light resistance down, which is, you know, specific to a light team, but if you're just needing an attack buffer, her 45% is higher than Rimuru's 40%. It is the highest attack, you know, buff in the game of just the straight up normal attack stat. So that's very good, and she can be used on a whole bunch of teams right here. So I think that she is also A tier, because she can be a very good support, just like the Space Rimuru is. And she's also an orb changer. And then if you want to run her on a light team, she just looks even better, because then you're helping the light team do more damage. So I think that she is A tier as well. And I don't think she belongs any higher, and I don't think she belongs any lower, because this is, you know, generic support for any team that needs a buff or changes to blues. Maybe because her orb stealing is very specific, there are times where you just don't have orbs for her, that it wouldn't really be useful. Oh well, you're probably running other orb changers as well. So, the final unit, probably the most controversial unit in my opinion, because of her skill of the after 8 turns you can lower an enemy's stun resistance. So an enemy that currently has 100% stun, you can't stun him. Once Valentine came out, you're like, oh, we can stun anything in the game now. Not really. Because again, going 8 turns in certain fights is either not feasible or not doable, right? Golem's gonna kill you. Ifrit's either gonna kill you or you're gonna kill him in 8 turns, in which case I don't know why you're even bringing the light team for that. Crucible, you can't stun. Most Tempered Edges, you can't stun except for the one she's built for. And it was the dick move of the developers to lock EX 3, 4, and 5, almost lock EX 3, 4, and 5 out of being able to be even beaten without having Valentine. There are ways around it. I did do a video on how to beat EX3 with just going like 35 turns and stacking water damage with Shuna. It is possible, but in order to make your life easy, you would just bring Valentine. And EX5, I just don't fucking know. I don't want to try it with that team. I beat it with Valentine. We're good. I don't want to do it again. It's just that it looks good on paper. You can stun the entire game now, except for the Masked Hero stage, because she has 999%. stun resistance, so that's just not going to happen. You can stun the entire game. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Are you actually going to stun the entire game in real play? No. No, you're not. So, again, pretty on paper, not so pretty in practical usage. Her light buff is good. It's 10% more than Leon, which, is great. Leon is a general banner unit, though, now. And he's got a single orb change. He is very unrestricted, restricted to the light team, obviously, because of the light buff, but still. Like, Valentine, 60% light buff, the Awake 8 turns, you get the stun resistance, and then she's got a green orb change, which is good. Which is good. B tier. She's unrealistically supportive of the game, okay? And that's just kind of how the light team has fallen, unfortunately. Good when you can, good mostly overall, and good in very, very specific situations. Obviously, you can bring her as a better support than Leon. It's only 10% though. It's not like you're doubling the support buff. But I mean, if you can run all three of them together, then the meta as itself ranks very, 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 very high, unless it's a short-term event. In which case, you can still kill it very fast, right? But it's just this team being stun-focused with a game that is not stun-focused hurts it in overall general practicality. Like, the masked hero, use anywhere. Violet burn damage is universal. You can burn anything. It's not restricted. Piercing, there are stages that nerf Pierce, but Xion and the Light 2.0 team, are good for short-term bursting, just like Fire 2.0 is, and then stacking, and, godly assistance of stacking and buffing. Like, none of these units really rank up here, because you can use these units anywhere, without having to worry about, most of the time, that I can't use this, or I can't use that, or if I don't use this, then I am severely fucking lacking in damage. Because if you can't use Pierce, then don't use Pierce. Use something else. Use crits. Right? Use the hero. I don't know. So I know this is actually a longer tier list than normal, but I feel like I had to air out my concerns for these, and or at least try to put up an argument of why they've placed them lower than what other people should think that I should. Maybe they're higher than what other people think. I don't actually know, but this is where I'm going to put them for now. And then if more events come in this game where they can stun, or they're longer focused, and this team can really begin to shine in more than just 4 stages, then I'll change my opinion. But until we get that, it's going to stay right here. So let me know what you guys think about my rankings, but that's it for me. Take it easy, and I will see you later.